This is a Q&A. Don't forget to hit subscribe and to like this video and to comment down below if there are any other questions that we might miss that you want answers to. There have been a lot of updates in our life over the last several years. A lot of things have changed in terms of, buying our home in Atlanta, in terms of getting new jobs. Is there anything new that you want to share with the audience?
You already hit on new job. I'll try and pick up some of the travel. I'm gonna see probably a lot more vlogs on the page, so be on the lookout for that. Obviously, there's new stuff, but you'll see it as we go.
Yeah, and we've actually, on the travel front, we've got a lot of new things coming up in terms of travel. We have a really ambitious but exciting schedule in terms of things that we've wanted to do this year. That I'm looking forward to. It's already seeming like a lot because we're trying to figure out how do we have time to do all of these things. But, we're gonna get them done because they're things that we really want to do in this moment in our lives. So really am excited to kind of bring y'all on that journey as we go down that path. But that's not what y'all are here for. Again, we want to answer some questions that some of our followers from our Instagram family sent over to us to answer via YouTube. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first question we have is, how did we meet? And this is probably one of the most frequently asked questions. If our social profiles had an FAQ section, is it FAQ? FQA? FAQ section, that would be one of the questions that would obviously be listed. But believe it or not, Ricky and I met how many years ago, Ricky?
2009. So
2022. No,
that's not right.
That's not right. 2009 plus 10 is 2019 plus 3.
13 years.
Wow. So Ricky and I met 13 years ago, but we met online at first, and this was the age of Facebook, like exclusive Facebook. Like you had to be, this is a couple of years after people had to be invited to Facebook by somebody who was in college. And we had a mutual friend in our college scene that connected us through Facebook. I was just not really out of the closet at the time. So I was doing all of my dirt on the internet. Ricky wasn't really out of the closet either. So we were being very strategic about, who we talked to and this, that, and the third. And
you want to tell them who added who first?
So I think you added me on Facebook first, and then you sent the first message reaching out to me because I wasn't really checking for you.
Actually,
I wasn't really checking for you.
No, you found me. Let's be clear.
I think I saw a picture of you, and I told my friend, "Hey, drop my name. Let that guy know that I'm."
No,
I think he's cute.
That's not how
So I think you got. So anyway, so somebody connected with somebody first on Facebook, and then we started going back and forth with messages, and that's how we connected, and that's how we met. We met through a mutual friend in college, and then a lot of starts and stops for a few years, and a lot of drama, a lot of long distance. We were young and trying to figure life out, but for the most part, that's how it all happened.
I just want to go on record and say that he added me.
Okay, well,
and slid in my DMs first.
Okay, I don't even think sliding in DMs was a thing back then because Facebook does not have direct message. So that was not even a thing.
Oh, so what was it? You messaged me first?
So anyway, the next question is, who said I love you first? I do not remember.
I think it was you. When would it have been though?
I don't know. I don't know if it was that first time we were together or that second time we were together. I don't think it was that first time we were together.
Definitely not the first.
It had to be either the second time we got back together or the third time. I want to say it was the second time we got back together. I was still in school. Oh, I know when it was. It was the second time we got back together. I told Ricky that I loved him because I had experienced a death in my family, And Ricky came and spent time with me and was there for me throughout the entire experience. And we had been back together, kind of dating and, you know, being around each other already at that point for a few months. But I think because of that experience, it was enough to compel me to say, I love you. And then we broke up a few more times after that, but you know, we got back together eventually, and it, you know, we bonded, like it worked.
So the next question is, what's the best vacation spot you've been on, and would you go there ASAP? So I love sand, beaches, hot weather. So my spot would probably be Puerto Vallarta. So far we've been there twice, and each time it has been an experience.
It is a gay man's paradise, as I'm sure many of you know.
I mean, yeah. But honestly, I really just love the beach there, and the vibe is just really nice. It really feels like you are relaxing and on vacation there. So I love Puerto Vallarta. I'd go there in a heartbeat if I could.
I have a vacation, like beachy, like relaxation spot, and then I have a, like, I want to be a tourist and just connect with the land kind of spot. So my beachy vacation destination is also Puerto Vallarta because of the, like, it just feels like a free place. It's beautiful weather pretty much all the time, and the vibe is just right, and it is, like I said, a gay man's paradise. My more laid, you know, touristy favorite destination to vacation in is Mexico City.
Mexico City was a good one.
Yeah, Mexico City was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Next question. Let's see what we got. When did you know each other was your person? I don't know. I feel like there were multiple times when I felt like you were my person. My grandmother's passed away. I feel like you were there and very just supportive and everything like that. That was a very, very monumental experience for me, and for you to be there really kind of meant something. So I'll definitely say that was a game changer. That was one experience. Another one is when I was in the hospital back in 2015. Yeah, that was, it came from out of nowhere. But with you being there for me, it kind of made me realize, like, one, that I did love you, and two, that you really are my person.
I don't know, it's like, why do we bond over tragedy? I think that's kind of weird, but also not surprising. You know, you were in really difficult situations together, and I think those difficult situations are what make you stronger, right, as a unit. So I'm not surprised that I think we really grew closer to each other over those situations, or not just situations, but, you know, in terms of grieving losses, in terms of facing health scares. We're both really caring individuals, so when you see somebody that you care about hurt, you care more and build up a lot more love for that person too. So this is a very specific question. So what challenges did we overcome in our courtship over the years that we were dating? So there were many. You know, for one, when we first started dating, we were not very faithful individuals. I'm just gonna put it out there. Again, like very young, you know, in college, we were not faithful. And we made mistakes, a lot of mistakes. And I think that we both can acknowledge that we may have hurt some people as well. We also were not fully out of the closet either. So that was a challenge, because whenever you're not out in the South, you have to, you know, make certain moves and avoid certain situations and places and being seen together. all of that stuff. And even to this day, like a lot of trauma and anxiety comes from our experience having to do that. We lived in different places. Ricky lived in Mississippi, I lived in Alabama and Louisiana, so we did the long distance thing, a lot of driving, a lot of back and forth for years. It put a strain on us, you know, and like I mentioned earlier, we were off and on for a few years before we finally made our connection final in 2015, before I proposed and we eventually got married. So those were the challenges, you know, the pressure. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I straight up, when I moved to Atlanta after college, I broke up with Ricky because I wanted to be...
Immediately.
It was really bad. Like, I was a bad person. Like, I would not like me if I was that same person today. I was not a good person. And thankfully Ricky, you know, overcame his, you know, distrust and dislike in me. But I feel like, you know, it goes both ways a little bit, but you know, I wanted to experience Atlanta in a new place as an adult, as a college graduate, and as a single person. So I did that, and it did not work out because I really wanted to be with him. So yeah, so those are the kind of things that I struggled with in the early days. Ricky, I mean, I don't know, what about you?
I'll even go out on a limb and say from like early days till now, I know for me, one thing I struggle with is communication. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is with most couples. Communication is so important and so vital. And, you know, it's funny how you can talk the same language and still not understand each other. But I really think now is kind of catching ourselves and working on trying to make sure my message is being received to you and vice versa, in a way that's not talking at you, in a way that's not, you know, derogatory. And
okay, you're getting into like now issues. This is from
it's like so back then until
like, from then to now.
Yeah, because I feel like we're still courting each other.
Yeah, I mean, courting each other.
Yeah, it's always like a court. Like, you want to constantly go on dates, you want to constantly do this. That never stops. What?
I mean, I guess. I don't think that's what the question meant, but I guess I see what you're saying. Okay.
Oh, well, maybe I misunderstood the question.
Like, I guess in courtship, I think they meant like when we were first dating, you know, but now we've been married for 5 years now, so I don't know. But you know, the challenges he raised around communication are very real and very much so a part of what we're still struggling with.
We've come a long way, but we still got a long way to go.
Yeah, just keeping it real.
Next question: do you guys have plans on starting a family in the future? The answer is yes.
I wish y'all stop asking me that.
The answer is yes. When?
That's it. The answer is yes. It's complicated, as I'm sure many of you know. It's not as straightforward. I don't know how. It's complicated. So, it's our dream. We want to be fathers. We want to be great fathers, and I know we will one day. But
it's a process. That's all we'll say.
What do you want? You want 1 kid, 2 kids, twins? Like, I feel like I don't know.
I think I would want either 2 or 3.
Yeah, 3 is my max. I'd be fine with just 1. I've been eager to adopt versus go through surrogacy. So through adoption, you never know what you will end up with. Sometimes, especially if you do foster to adopt. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm indifferent, but definitely want to be a dad one day, and will be. So, yep.
Okay. What goals do you have for the future, both individually and together? Individually, career-wise, I would like to retire early. No, I want to get to a point where I'm really doing not a lot of work and having a lot of free time, whatever that looks like. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to, enjoy life, and also, have something that kind of pays for that.
Yeah, for me, it's just about, I don't know, like I'm not really focused on too much in terms of like, I'm not like a lot of people out here. I know a lot of people are like, I want to build an empire and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not interested in that at all. Like I'm very satisfied with where I'm currently career-wise. I have a great job that I love. I have as much education as you can get. I feel very comfortable, and people think that's not a good thing, but for me personally, I don't believe like in the constant overwork of capitalism that a lot of people like to invest time into, and that's just me though. I know that's just me. I know a lot of folks out there might find that controversial. I believe in rest. I do not want to spend all of my days hustling. That's not the direction that the Lord is guiding my spirit in. But for those who are into that, by all means, love it for you, and I wish you all the success. But for me, in mine, I feel very happy with where I am currently, and I think I've worked so hard through my 20s that I need to slow down and like take a breath and take in all of what I've worked hard for and enjoy it. And that's where I'm at right now in my life. I guess you could say I'm really excited to just kind of settle down and slow down a little bit. Life's too short to be trying to hustle and race all the time. Like I want to just take in the scenery, and that's where I am right now. So big goals right now are just being comfortable enough to be able to do that. And I feel like we're in a good place now. I'm in a good place, but I think we could do a little bit more, in terms of like student loans looming over us and other things. Like we, can work towards having more like financial freedom to do more like travel and this and the third. But yeah, I'm not trying to get another degree. I'm not trying to like be the CEO of anybody's company. Like I have no interest in that. So
that was a very extensive answer right there. You feel very passionate about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a goal for us as a couple?
I think parenthood is definitely one of our goals. I see us achieving, I see us unlocking that achievement maybe in the next 5 years or so, in our early 30s. So it just feels like the right time. In terms of other goals, I definitely see us cutting out all of our debts. Like between us, we have a lot of student loan debt, which is, and we're hoping and praying for some relief from the government, but who knows? And don't get into our comments with all your opinions because I don't care. Like, we want our shit canceled. And I think just want to be able to travel and be there for our family. Like, family is very important to us. My parents, his parents, our siblings are all the most important people in our lives. So we want to be in a place where we can be around them more, travel to go see them, and do things as families together. So like last Christmas, we all spent Christmas together, which was the first time our families came together for Christmas, and we stayed in a giant house, and it was the most amazing holiday experience I've ever had. So I just want to be able to do more things like that, and that's a goal for us to be able to host more experiences like that for our family and for our close friends.
That was actually one of my goals that you kind of took from me, but
great minds.
It's okay.
There's a reason we're married. Okay, so the most common question we actually got, so I would say second to like how did we meet, the second most common question that we got when we asked folks what they wanted to know was, how do we keep the spark alive? How do we keep the romance alive? How do you guys keep the love alive? And I think that's a great question. I'm happy to share.
Curious about your answer.
I think, and it's a lot of people want to know that because we've been together for a long time. For 13 years of being together, 5 years of marriage, and a lifetime to go. And it's important to ask or figure out what keeps the spark alive. for me, we're a team. Everything we do feels like we do it as a team. And we have these goals that we just described, and like the work of trying to achieve those goals together is great. But we're not like work buddies, right? Like we're actually husbands. So in terms of romance, like some of the stuff that we do is we travel. Like we invest in our romance, right? Like we take time away to go places, to see the world. It's been more difficult during the pandemic, but since we've both been, keeping it safe and staying healthy, we felt like we could participate and travel again. So we've been doing that. And when we do travel, it is often a romantic experience involved, and that's by design. In addition to that, I mean, we do have a wonderful, I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know if I should say we have a great sex life. I don't want like my mom to be like, oh yeah.
Well, you already said it, but
we spend a lot of time together. Like Ricky is a very attractive, like beautiful man, and I just like looking at him. And we operationalize that in the bedroom and often, and that's part of the magic as well. So that sounded so nerdy, like operationalized.
Yeah,
we have a great sex life as well, so we keep it hot and fresh with each other, and that is the gist of that. There's not a day that's gone by. Maybe like I can probably count on one hand how many times Ricky's forgotten to do this, but there's really been not a day that's gone by that Ricky hasn't texted me first thing in the morning saying good morning, I love you, because he's normally at work and up before I am, and I wake up to those sweet texts. He's been doing that literally since we met, and it's never stopped. And I just think it's a very small thing. He probably thinks I don't care or even notice that there's a built-in habit, but I've never forgotten that, and that I look forward to it. And whenever I don't see it, it's a problem. But things like that have really, I think, feel like kept the spark alive.
One big important thing that we started doing, which I think helps, weekly or monthly like check-ins.
Yeah.
And just kind of, it doesn't have to be like a very formal thing. It's kind of like a sit down, just kind of figure out where each other's heads at, how are we feeling, and what can we do to kind of get you to that point where you're feeling like loved, wanted, where you feel like your needs are being met. Mm-hmm. Definitely weekly and monthly check-ins with each other, kind of figure out and just stay on track with where y'all are going.
Yeah. And I know it doesn't sound romantic, and people want us to be more romantic, but I just, just an FYI, like being married is actually work. Like that's not just a saying, it actually is. And when you love someone, you check in with them, you do pulse checks often to figure out like, is this working? Do you still love me today? Do we need to figure it out? Do we need to go to therapy? I would say we don't do therapy, though it's something we need to do, frankly, and it's something we're working on, because that is important and it's just part of a healthy marriage, in our opinion. So that's one of our goals that I didn't mention earlier. But yeah, like I don't want to see rose petals when I walk through the door on the floor. I don't want to see heart-shaped balloons and shit like that on Valentine's Day. I don't want to see any of that. I don't like any of that stuff. I think it's so cheesy and corny. And no shade to those, who do it. I think it's so cute for other folks, but for me, I don't want to clean up that mess. Like, I'm not into all of that stuff. That's just not me, and I don't think that's Ricky either. We'd much rather like order Chipotle and watch some anime. That is romance. And what it boils down to for me is that we're like also best friends. So that plays out into our romance as well. Like there's a romantic connection on top of our deep friendship as well. So.
All right, so that wraps up all the questions that you had If y'all have any more, be sure to just like comment below